Alright, let us start today's session with the demo 2. So yesterday we have seen the day 1 session. So in the yesterday session we have understood the difference between Pega decisioning and Pega marketing, right? So what is Pega decisioning? What is Pega marketing? And within Pega marketing we have some channels, like we have some types of marketing, the inbound marketing and the outbound marketing, right? So now within inbound marketing we have some channels like the website, retail, we have the call center. All these are the inbound channels, the mobile application. And for outbound channels we have the email, SMS, push notification, right? So all these things we have discussed yesterday, where we have seen the differences between decisioning and marketing, inbound marketing versus outbound marketing, and we have seen the prerequisites for learning the Pega decisioning. Now let us go to the next demo, that is the environment preparation. So now that you understood the introduction of Pega CDH, that is the Customer Decision Hub portal, the next step is to prepare your environment to make sure that the implementation is error free and hassle free, right? So in order to make sure the implementation is hassle free and error free, we have to ensure the environment is prepared for CDH implementation. So as part of the CDH implementation, let us prepare the environment to uh, to make sure our CDH works without any issues. So unlike the traditional BPM application, right, the CDH needs various services which are responsible for the enablement. So let us understand what are those services. Okay. So for Pega decisioning, we need to enable the below services, and each of the service is responsible for a particular feature in Pega. Okay. Clear till here? Okay. So we have to enable these Pega decisioning services on our server to make sure the Pega decisioning works without any issues. So what are those decisioning services that we need to enable? The first one is called Adaptive Decision Manager. Okay, the first one is called Adaptive Decision Manager. So this service is responsible for enabling your adaptive models and predictive models. That means if you enable this service, then only your adaptive model and predictive model will work without any issues. Okay. So the second service that we have is the DDS. DDS stands for Decision Data Store. Okay. DDS stands for Decision Data Store. So we have a separate database called Cassandra database. So this particular service is responsible for that one. So I'll just mention here so that it will be easy for you to go through. Okay. Responsible for enabling adaptive models and predictive models. Okay. Responsible for enabling adaptive models and predictive models. So then this service is responsible for Cassandra database. Okay. And stream service is for real time, and the second one, fourth one is also for real time, and fifth one is also for real time operations. So we will see in detail what are those real time operations that we do in Pega decisioning implementation. But the first service is for adaptive models and predictive models to work. Second service is for Cassandra database. Third, fourth, fifth are for real time operations. Okay, these three are for real time operations. So Before we understand how to enable this service, before we understand how to enable this service, uh, let us see some basics about nodes and clusters. So what is node and what is cluster? Let us understand that first of all before we go with the uh, how to enable the service. So first of all, a node is nothing but a server where the Pega PRPC is installed, right? For example, in your production environment, you might have like 5 servers. So 5 servers means there are 5 nodes are there. Okay, servers, as many servers are there, that means as many nodes are there. Okay, so one server can have one node can have one server, and we can actually purchase multiple nodes. Okay, we can actually purchase multiple nodes as part of our implementation. So for example, when you are keeping more and more servers in your environment, then you can make your application faster because the load will be balanced, right? So this is called as load balancing. Okay, this is called as load balancing whenever you are having more and more servers. A node is nothing but a server. Okay, a node is nothing but a server. Now group of servers together is called as cluster. Okay, group of servers together is called as cluster. Now load balancer functionality is to balance the load among multiple servers, right? For example, let us say in production I have 5 servers. Now whenever in one server there are more than 10,000 people visiting that, the load balancer should automatically redirect the users to the next available server. So that the performance will be maintained and that the server will not become slow. Okay, the server will not become slow, so that the load will be balanced among multiple servers. Just basic PRPC concepts only, but any question, any confusion? Understood this one? Did you all understand the difference between node, cluster, and load balancer? So basically, a node means a server where your Pega PRPC will be installed. You can have more than one node, and when you are grouping multiple nodes together, you call it as a cluster. The purpose of grouping that is to make sure load balancer will work properly. For example, in one cluster, you can keep 5 nodes, and if you install the load balancer, you can redirect more traffic to other nodes. That is what you can do. Okay, understood? Any confusion here or clear what I told? Okay. So now let us go to the next understanding here. So now, for example, like I told you, we have nodes, which is nothing but servers. You can have more than one server in your environment. Now we have to do node classification. So what is node classification means, in each and every node, for example, like I told you, you can have like, let us say 5 nodes. So let us say in node 1, which service should run. In node 2, which service should run. In node 3, which service should run. Like that, we can classify the nodes with the services. Okay, we can classify the nodes with the services. That you call it as node classification. So what is node classification? Node classification is classifying nodes with the services. Okay, because what are all these are nothing but services, right? So now we can say in node 1 run ADM service, in node 2 run DDS service, in node 3 run background processing. Like that, we can classify which service should run on which node. That concept we call it as node classification. Okay, that concept we call it as node classification. So that is what we have to do as part of environment preparation. And again, generally this is a job of the LSA or the network team, but it is always good to understand what is happening in the backend. Okay, so you don't need to worry much on this, but you just need to know how the things work in the backend. All right. Now, how do I classify the nodes? I understood that there will be multiple nodes, there will be multiple servers, and I need to classify nodes with the services. So how do I classify that? How do I do that? So if you, for example, if I go to the CDH, right, and if I go to the intelligence prediction studio, so here what we need to do is we need to go to the admin studio. So I'm just clicking on the prediction studio and I go to the admin studio. So this is where you actually see how many servers are there. Okay, this is where you see how many servers are there in your application. So right now you can see there is only one node, right? There is only one node, right? Here, this is where you see. So in your environment, you can have 3, 5, 10, or whatever it is. You can have more than one in your real-time project. So this is where you can see the nodes, and this is where you see what all services are running on this particular node. So you can see in the Tomcat 0 node, all these services are running. That is the search, web user, background processing, RTDG, real time, all these are running on the node, on this particular node. That is what is happening. Okay, so how do I do that? How do I classify that? Now, how do I classify that? There are two options. One option is to classify saying that universal. Second option is to classify manually. So what does it mean to classify universal? So in the backend, for example, if you go to the folder where the Pega is, so you can try this today. You can try this today and let me know if it is working for you. So what you need to do is you go to the folder where Pega is installed. In that folder, go to the Tomcat. Go to the Tomcat folder. In the Tomcat folder, go to the bin folder. In that you will have this particular file called setnv.bat. So you just need to double click on this and open this. Okay, double click on this and open this. Then you will find this particular line. You will find this particular line in that particular file, that is setnv.bat. So all you need to do is just add like this comma separated values. Hyphen denote type equal to stream comma background processing comma web user comma search comma stream comma ADM comma DDS comma. So like this you need to set comma separated values to the denote type. So are you all with me? Are you all following? Any confusion till here? Let me know anyone. Are you all with me? Like what we are doing? Yes, no. Yes, don't be silent.
I have one question.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
regarding the setup, if application is hosted on cloud, so yesterday you
Yeah,
have
if it is
given
hosted on cloud,
URLs,
the
right?
Pega team will take care of this. Okay. So even if it is cloud or on premises, this is the procedure what happens in the backend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the Pega support team will be there, right? They will manage all the cloud instances. They will take care of doing this procedure. Okay, and again, you might not do this with your experience, but just I'm telling you for this information for understanding what happens in the backend as part of environment preparation. See, we are going to create a CDH application. Before we create a CDH application, we have to make sure our environment is supporting all the CDH services. Okay, so which are these things? So now you have to do this project. You can try, all of you can try this one. If you want, I can share it in the chat. Okay.
So Ravi,
Yeah, go ahead.
this one we let's say in real time, right? We have multi-node setup. So we need to perform this at server level or node level?
Node level. Both are
Node
same.
level.
Node and server both are same. Okay, you have to
No, if
log
a
into
server
that
means
node. Hmm?
okay, one server we have multiple nodes. Okay,
No, no, no.
node 1, node 2, node 3, node 4. So in each node, we need to enable this configuration.
Right, right. In each node, you have to enable this configuration. Yes. So you have to log into the web sphere like the Tomcat. You'll have that. You have to log into that node and you have to do all this configuration.
Okay.
Okay. So like that's why I'm saying. So you might not have access to real time. So just try to practice in the personal edition that you have. Okay. So that you will understand what we are doing in the backend. Okay.
Ravi, in
So
the real-time environment, what happens in the means actual project? So it is each of the node is classified. Suppose there are five nodes, so each of them is classified as only one type, or
no, no, no. You will
how
have
is it?
multiple types. You have multiple types for each node. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. So some nodes you might not use decisioning, some nodes you might be using decisioning. So the web, whichever the URL that is given to you, in that you might be using decisioning. Okay, some background nodes will be there. For background nodes, you might not be using it. Okay, but
okay,
whichever the URL that you are using, the PR web, that you have to use the decisioning services, which is these all things. Okay, so this is the first option. What you need to do, you need to go to this file and open that and give comma separated service names like this, ADM comma DDS comma, like this you have to give. Second option is, in the same place you just need to set hyphen denotype equal to universal. That's it. So when I say universal, all the Pega services whichever are there, every single service will run on that particular node. Okay, so right now in this particular exercise system they have given comma separated like this, but if you are giving universal, then you will see node type as universal here. So up to you. So again, whenever there is only one node, you can go for universal, but when you are having multiple nodes, you have to set it manually like this. So just try this, go to this path, open this file and set the denote type equal to universal, then restart the server. Okay, so just go to the path, set denote type equal to universal, then you shut down the server, restart the server, then log into the personal edition, go to the admin studio and verify whether it is coming or not. So that is the task for you. Okay, that is a task for you. So you just need to say hyphen denote type equal to universal u capital. Okay, u capital universal. So I'm just posting in the chat also if you want to practice. So just you can practice that. Yeah, so I sent you in the chat. Okay, for everyone I sent you in the chat, so just do that practice. So you just need to say hyphen denote type equal to universal, then you shut down the server, restart the server and go to the admin studio like how I have gone, right? You come to the admin studio, then you click on the nodes. So you have the nodes right here, just you click on that, then you should be seeing here universal. Instead of all these things, you should be seeing universal. So that is how you classify the nodes with the services. Okay, that is how you classify the nodes with the services. So that is how you have to verify. Okay, that is step one. Step one of verification. After you do the node classification, step one is to verify from the admin studio. Step two is you have to go to the dev studio here. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to the dev studio and so then what you need to do is go to the configure. So go to the configure decisioning infrastructure services. Okay, configure decisioning infrastructure services, then click on any one of that. So then here also you need to see the service normal, service status as normal. See, all these are decisioning services. Okay, all these are decisioning services. So you again here you can see you have to see the status as normal. That is how you verify. If you are not seeing any record or if you are not seeing the status as normal, then that means there is some error with the configuration. there is some error with the configuration. Mostly restarting will help, or you can reach out to your administrator. You can reach out to your administrator and they will fix it. This is the job of the administrator. So like this, you have to come to each and every tab and you need to check whether the status is normal or not. So again, I go to the data flow, then I need to check each and every one, and all of them should have the status as normal. Okay, here also I'm coming, I need to see the status as normal like this. So you need to go to every tab and you need to see status as normal. So once you set it as universal, all these services should be up and running on that particular node. So that is what you have to verify. That is a decision data store which is responsible for Cassandra database to run. Adaptive decision manager which is responsible for adaptive models and predictive models. Then all the remaining are for real-time operations. All the remaining are for real-time operations. Okay, this is the navigation, configuration, decisioning, infrastructure, services. Configure decisioning infrastructure services. Then you have to check the status as normal here also. Okay, so that is what you have to do. Two-step verification. First step is to verify in the admin studio whether universal is coming or not. Second step is to verify in the dev studio in the infrastructure services whether you are able to see the services status as normal or not. Two steps you have to verify. Okay, understood?
Ravi, here what is a node IP address?
So node IP address will be configured in the server. So I think when you create the node, then only your IP address will be automatically generated. So again, this is the job of the administrator. So when you create a node, they will assign a IP address to that particular node. So that if anyone wants to open that, right, they can just open this IP address and then also they can open that particular node. So it's same like a URL, right? For example, every website will have some IP address will be there for every website. Same way, it's nothing but a node also will have a IP address, so that you can open that node with IP address also. Okay, yeah, this is
In
again
ADM
done by
also
the
we can see
administrator.
some different IP address.
Where?
Can you click on the ADM tab, Decision Manager tab?
Okay,
Yeah, here 1042.0191.
right, right. This is IP address assigned to this particular node by the administrator.
So
Yeah, so
nothing but
again that's out of scope for Pega decisioning, and again you will never do the IP address configuration for a node. So that will be done by the administrator for you already. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this IP address will help you to open this node separately. You can just type this IP address and you can try to open this node and it will open. So this is assigned to the node itself by the administrator. And again, you will never ever do this thing, but you might work in supporting environment preparation where you need to actually do this node classification. That is the one thing that you can do, but that is also very rare. Unless you are a senior most person, you might not even do that. Okay, for our experience, you can guarantee for 3 years of experience, and with that you will be a junior developer, not a senior developer or LSA. Okay, so but it's always good to know what happens in the backend and how the environment is prepared. So this is how it happens in the backend. So you need to enable the decisioning services that we have on each and every node where you are doing the decisioning implementation. All these places you have to do this way. Either you set it universal or you set it manual, then you restart the server and verify in both the admin studio and dev studio. Okay, any other questions before we go to the next one? So try this. I already pasted the navigation in the chat, so try this and let me know if you are facing any issues. Okay, so the next topic that we need to understand is called context dictionary. The next topic that we need to understand is called context dictionary. So what is context dictionary? First of all, what is context? Okay, first of all, what is context? So the context is the targeted audience to whom the promotions or marketing is being performed, right? So like I told you, right, the Pega Decisioning Marketing course is completely a marketing solution. Okay, Pega Decisioning is nothing but a marketing solution. That means how best and how effectively you promote the next best actions, which is a right offer at right time to the right customer. Now, as part of promotion, sometimes you will promote to the existing customers. Sometimes you will be promote to the new customers. And when I say new customer, that means they did not join, but they are interested. Okay, they did not join the business, but they are interested. There is also another type of audience like the existing customers. There can also be other types of audience, for example, Facebook followers, right? So for example, I want to promote a personal loan to the Facebook followers. So all these things are different types of audience that we have. That is, existing customers is one audience, new new customers is one audience, and Facebook followers is one audience. So the audience to whom you are promoting is called as context. Okay, so in Pega decisioning terms, context means the targeted audience to whom you are promoting. So there are two types of contexts in Pega decisioning. The first context is called primary context. Second context is called secondary context. See, like I told you, right? See, you can promote to different type of people like Facebook followers, Instagram followers, uh, new customers, existing customers. Different types of audience are there. So those audience you need to configure in the Pega decisioning before only. Okay, we need to configure that before only. So there are two types of context, like I told, primary context, secondary context. At any given point of time, there will be only one primary context, but there can be multiple secondary context. So where do I configure this? So if I go to the App Studio, so if you go to the App Studio, so again we will see the configuration in the coming session when we create a new application, but I am just showing you where it is present. So once you go to the App Studio and if you go to the settings, here you have the context dictionary. Okay, here you have the context dictionary. So what we are doing in this context dictionary is we are clearly telling the Pega decisioning and Pega marketing that all these are the people to whom I will be promoting. Okay, all these are the people to whom I will be promoting, and I am already configuring what is the email address of the customer. See, this customer is a primary context here. That means I am keeping my main context as customer, and I am also providing where is the customer email address present in which property. In which property mobile phone number is present. In which property the customer's full name is present. So that whenever Pega marketing has to send an email to this customer, right, it will check in this email address property, that is in the primary email. Same way, let us say in Pega marketing, we need to send a SMS to the customer. Then while sending the SMS, it will check the phone number in this property, that is primary mobile phone. So like this, we are pre-configuring all the details to whom we are sending, where the customers are present. Customers are present in this table, and email address is present in this property, phone number is present in this property. Like this, we are pre-configuring everything before we do the marketing, so that when we are doing the marketing, the email will be sent to this place and SMS will be sent to this phone number. So like that, we are providing all the pre-configuration here. Okay, and you can have only one primary context, that is a main audience, but there can be more than one secondary audience, that is the account. In this particular scenario, in this particular system, there is one secondary audience called account. So prospect is not secondary audience. This is the secondary audience that we have. So you can have 10, 20, 30, how many secondary audience you want, you can have that. But there will be only one primary audience, that is customer. Okay, understood, clear? Any confusion?
So
So
Ravi, this will be
basically,
defined by developer or like any product management team?
sorry, I didn't get, can you repeat?
No, no. As you mentioned, right? One is primary context, and we have multiple secondary context, right?
Right.
So this is a configuration as to done by developer or like a
It will done by
we
the
need to.
wizard only. Basically, see, before 8.7, we have to do everything manually before 8.7 version. But after 8.7 version, Pega application wizard will create everything automatically itself. Okay, so I'll show you like how the wizard is creating and what are the steps that are happening in the back end. I'll show you. But if you are working in older versions, you have to do this manually. That means you have to create the table, you have to create the properties, you have to expose those columns, and you have to click on this add context button. So you see here I have add context button, right? I'll click on this add context button, and for example, I'll say uh, Facebook follower, and space will not be there. Okay, space will not be there, and Facebook followers. Okay, then you have to give the table name, that is a class name where the Facebook follower records are there. Okay, you need to give the class name, that is a table name, and you need to save this. Okay, so that is what you have to do manually if you are using old versions of CDH. So once you do that, for example, let us say at any given point of time I can make a secondary audience into primary audience. So I just need to click on this change primary. Okay, so once I click on the change primary, then I can like this, for example, I can select this and I can click on apply. Then secondary audience will become primary audience. Okay, secondary audience will become primary audience. So like this I can have multiple secondary audience, but there will be only one primary audience. Yeah, again all these things are done by the wizard only, but if you are using old version you have to do manually.
So every
Okay.
time if we have any like a targeted promotion, so do we need to change the primary context?
So the good thing is most of the features in Pega marketing supports selecting secondary audience, but some features will look for the data only in primary context. Okay, see, the thing here is like this. For example, I want to create some targeted customers in secondary context, I can do that. Okay, but at real time you just need to select the secondary audience. So you don't need to switch every time, this is just a indication to the application saying that what is the main focus, what is the secondary focus. But you don't need to switch every time you are marketing that, or every time you are sending email. You don't need to switch every time. Okay, this is just like a tagging or indication to the application what is the main focus and what is the secondary focus, that's it. Okay, yeah, so again, like when we are doing marketing also you can see that that option which I'm telling. But when you are doing the promotion, it will ask you what context you need to send the email, whether the primary context or secondary context. So it will show you the details. Okay. Okay.
In that
uh,
sense, then my secondary context will become the primary context, right? Specific to a promotion.
no, it doesn't become like that. Okay, it
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
become like that. But the what I'm saying is when you are sending an email or when you are doing the promotions, it will ask you which context you want to select. There you can select that and you can submit that, but it doesn't change the context if you are doing that way. Okay, yeah, so I'll show you, like it, you will do that in the campaigns, I'll show you anyways, you can get more clarity. But this is only like a indication that who is the main audience, who is the secondary audience, that's it. Okay, so now we have the context, which is nothing but the targeted audience. primary context, which is the main audience or main focus, secondary context, that is a secondary audience or secondary focus. Then we also have one more concept that is called associated data. Okay, we also have something called associated data. So what is associated data? See, for example, I'll just type it in a notepad so you can understand it more better. So what I am telling here, I have context. Context is nothing but audience, or it's a type of audience. Okay, it's not type of audience, it's audience. Okay, so then I have primary context, which is nothing but primary audience or main focus, a main audience. Then we have secondary audience, secondary context, which is secondary audience or secondary okay, alternate audience. Again, that means it's not a main people, these are not the main people, that is the only indication, and that is the only difference. Now for example, let us take primary audience as uh, existing customers. Let us take secondary audience as Facebook followers. Like we are taking the same example, we will take the same thing as Facebook followers. Now what is mean by associated data? Associated data means the data that is available with this particular context, we call it as associated data. For example, here associated data can be something like uh, existing customers products, okay, or existing customers loans, okay, like this. Same way, here associated data can be Facebook followers, let us say Facebook followers, profiles, something like that. Okay, Facebook followers, profiles, whatever, something, just an example I'm giving. So basically, what does associated data means? The associated tables of that particular context. For example, I'm having customers. The customer might purchase some products, right? That products can be in a separate table, right? For example, customer one has taken personal loan, 50 lakhs personal loan. Customer 2 has taken credit card. Customer 3 has taken a debit card. So in general, right, in general, you will have this information in a separate table, right, in the products table or loans table, like that. But that is the associated information of the primary context. Same way, for secondary context also, there will be some associated information, like whatever the services that they have taken, whatever the products that they have taken, whatever the loans that they have taken. So this associated data is a separate table which is having the associated information of that particular context. Okay, like I showed you, for example, customers, and you are having some table called products table. Customers, you are having some other table called loans table. So like that, this is the primary context here, and this is the associated data 1, and this is the associated data 2. That is what you have to configure in the context dictionary also. Okay, so if you see here, when I click on the customer, right, when I click on the customer, all this, see, and under the customer only I have this associated data: accounts join, financial click stream, product scores. All these are the associated data which is there in this application. So when I'm clicking on the gear icon, when you scroll down, you can see the associated data that is there for customer. So how do I create? See, like I told you, if you are doing it manually in the old version, how do I create associated data? So for example, you will just come here, you will say add button. Okay, you see I have add button, right? You'll say add button. Then you have to create a association rule in Pega. So for example, if you open this one, so what we are doing here is we are joining, right? Association means what here? We are joining customer table and product table with some common column, right? In customers table, you will have something like customer ID, right? You will have something like customer ID. Let us say here also you have something like customer ID. Then you will join these two tables, right? You will join these two tables using association. That is what we are doing here. See, I am joining Ubank CDH customer with accounts table with the condition that is called, this is the condition that I have. So what is the condition that I can see when I click on the edit condition button? So the condition is the customer ID in the customer table with customer ID in accounts join table. That is what I am doing here. Okay, that is what I am doing here. That's it. Then we are doing the association. That's it. That's what we have to do. So we are joining customer table with accounts table with this particular join condition, and I'm saying include all rows in the customer. That's what I'm saying. Okay. So like this, we have to give the associated data also. Same way we are doing for the other two tables also. Okay. Same way we are doing for the other two tables also. Just we need to create a association rule, and we have to join customers with products. Then whatever the matching column is there, right? That matching column you have to give. Okay, so this is nothing but the associated data. So overall we have three things, that is the primary context, secondary context, and associated data. So every context will have some associated data, right? So just think from a real-time perspective, right? You are doing some promotion. When I am doing some promotion, I have different types of people, like the Facebook followers, Instagram followers, customers, like the different types of people are there. All those are called as context, and every context will have some associated data that is present in a separate table. That separate table we have to add it to the context dictionary as a associated data. Okay, understood? Any confusion, or you want me to tell somewhere or repeat somewhere if you are not clear?
Ravi, if we have to build from the scratch, then when we are creating the associated data, so then we have to create one data table also. Like, for example, here we
So
have
this
created
table,
customers.
so this table you might have it, your LSA might create this table. Okay, or if you are doing this application, new application, then you need to do that. Okay, see, again all this comes as a requirement, right? So when you are, for example, you are working for a telecom, you are working for a telecom business. Okay, let us say you are working for a telecom company, like for example like Airtel. So the business will say, whenever customer already has 5 GB plan, whenever customer already has 5 GB plan, do not promote 5 GB plan again. Okay, do not promote 5 GB plan to the same customer. So if you have to achieve this logic, you have to check in both the tables. That's the customer table and plan table, right? So in the customer table, you have what are the customer information, like the customer income, age, phone number, etc. In the plan table, you have the customer ID, what is the plan he has taken, all these things. So this is my primary context here, and this is my associated data here, right? So now every time I have to check with the customer ID dot plan name equal to 5 GB or not. Like that, you have to do the association and you have to check it. So as part of the requirement, the business will tell you what all associated data is there. If the business is not telling, you have to ask them. Okay, or your LSA has to ask them what all the associated information is there for this particular context. Like what are plan table, product table, loan table, like that. Okay, so you have to ask the business. Okay, I need to know what all associated data is there for this particular context, so that I can configure in the context dictionary, and every time I want to use, I can check using the strategy logic. Okay, so either it will come through the requirement, or you need to ask your LSA or the business to provide the information. Okay, understood? Okay, any questions for anyone? Understood? Again, see, we'll see all this thing automated. Everything will be automatically generated when we create our application. So in the tomorrow session, we'll see how to do that. But again, if you are using less than 8.7, then you have to do all these things manually. So you have to create a customer table, you have to create the product table, you have to create the association rule, you have to add that association here, then you have to switch from primary context to secondary context, secondary to primary. All these things you have to do. You have to create the properties, you have to create the columns, you have to add those properties here. So all these things you have to do manually if you are using below 8.7. But from 8.7 onwards, Pega has given the application wizard, which will automatically create all these things. Okay, which will automatically create all these things. So tomorrow I'll show you how that application wizard is running and how to create a new application. I'll show you tomorrow.
Ravi,
Okay?
I'm audible. Hello,
Yes. Audible, yes.
hello.
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah, Ravi. Like you have given example of telecom, right? Telecom industry, where you are setting the customer context, customer contact dictionary, primary context as customer table, and plan table as an associated data. So,
Right.
can you please provide an example, like to understand the account secondary context
Hmm?
here?
Okay, account right here. See, account here basically this account table which you are referring to the existing application. This is a bank application. Okay, so whatever application we are seeing in the exercise system is a bank application. So this customer table has the customer details, right? For example, age, name, phone number, address, email ID. So these kind of details will be there. Annual income, monthly income, like that. Now, what does account table contain is account table is containing the account number, right? For a bank, what you will have account number will be there, right? Account number, account balance, right? Account balance, and for example, let us say uh, account ID. Okay, and for example, the account is having some expiry date, something like account expiry date. Okay, account start date, like this. So this is again specific to the bank. Whatever the application we are seeing in the XSS system, it's a bank application. So for a bank, you will have the account table will be there. So account table will contain the account information, right? Whether it's account type, for example, this account is a premium account or basic account. What is the balance that is having for this customer? What is the account number of this customer? So like this, that is there in the account table. Okay, understood or clear?
Good. Yeah, good, Ravi. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
So this
Understood.
is a bank application. This exercise system is bank application. That's why you have account as a secondary context. Now again, for example, why we need this again? For example, we need to promote credit card only to the people who have account balance more than some $10,000 something, let us say. So then again you have to do a join here, right? So that we are already doing before only. So you'll say customer ID dot account balance greater than 10,000, like that you will check. Okay. So since it's a different table, this is a different table, you have to create a association to join them together and let the application know that both of them are related. So that is what you are telling the application. So simply you can say in the strategy customer ID dot account balance greater than 10,000, then only promote the credit card, like that you will say. Okay, understood, clear?
Yes, Ravi. But this is being the secondary context. I think will there be any
Right.
join between primary
See,
context and
again,
secondary?
it all depends on the requirement. See, for example, all this information is there in the same table. You don't need to create as a associated secondary context. But let us say if your business is storing different information in different tables, then you have to create like this only. That is secondary context, primary context, associated data, like that you have to do. Okay, so it all depends on the business structure how they are having. Okay, So again, they might have separate account table and separate customer table, and they might not be, this might not be the associated data. That's the reason they might have created like this. Okay, but as per your requirement, you need to decide whether that is a associated data or uh, secondary context.
Yeah.
Okay,
One last
right now I
question.
think, yeah.
One last question. So, like in the time of offer presentation, so how this contact dictionary comes into play, like in runtime? Yeah.
Right. See, in marketing, when you are sending the offer through the campaign, at that time it will ask you to select the associated. It will ask you to select the appropriate context. For example, when I am doing a campaign promotion to the customers, I need to send the emails to the customers. I need to send the emails. It will ask you to which context you need to send the emails. Customers or accounts or Facebook followers, like that. So depending on the selection to that particular table's email ID property, it will send the email, like that it will be. Okay. So again, we'll see that. Okay, we'll see that how it looks like in the marketing session. We'll see that.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks, Ravi.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello, Ravi. I have one question here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, when you were showing the practice screen right there, how many associated data is here? Is it one, or what is financial and offline product here?
Yeah. See, they have kept it for their particular example. See, this is all example data, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they have kept it for their own scenarios and their own example. So basically, I'll tell you what is clickstream. So clickstream means, for example, you are visiting this website. You are visiting this website, and for example, you came to this website, and let us say you clicked on this button. After clicking on this button, then you came down and you clicked on this link. Okay, so all this will be captured in the clickstream. All this will be captured in the clickstream. So why it is helpful means, we can know when the customer came to the website, what button he has clicked first, then which link he has clicked, then where did he scroll down. All this information will be captured into the clickstream. That is a concept. That's a concept of Pega decisioning. Okay, that's a concept of Pega decisioning. That is behavioral clickstream. That means in a particular website, which all places the customer has clicked, all this information will be there in the click stream. So that is the reason it is created as associated data. Okay, that's the reason it's created as associated data. So by knowing this information, we can, okay, customer is coming here, mainly is clicking on this button. So maybe we can keep some offer near this button. This kind of understanding we will be getting from the models, because we know customer is clicking on this button. Most of the customers are clicking on this button. So maybe we can keep some offers somewhere near to this. That is what the clickstream will help you. Okay, understood?
Yeah. So right now for customer primary context, they have three associated data, right?
Right, right, right,
Okay.
correct, correct.
It has a
Clickstream
different
will,
icon, so I just wanted to ask.
no, no, that icon is auto generated. No need to worry about that.
Okay.
So, but they have three associated data. That is the meaning of that.
Okay.
Okay, so clickstream means like this particular customer, which all places he has clicked, what is the behavior of that customer, that information will be there. Okay, same way other tables are also there, and that is again given for a sample. In real time, it depends on whatever your business requirement is there. But this is only just a exercise, just a sample only. So in real time, you will not have all these things. It all depends on your requirement.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, again, tomorrow we will run the application wizard. You will see like how the context dictionary is automatically created. At that time, you can understand that. Now, coming to the customer profile viewer. So, what is this customer profile viewer? I think, yeah, we are out of time. Anyways, like we'll see this topic tomorrow. I'll show you this tomorrow. But before we close, let us understand the differences between 8.7, 8.8, 23, and 24. So there are so many new features added in 23 and 24 compared to 8.8 and 8.7. So we have something called customer journeys. Customer journey means, like for example, after clicking on this particular button, where he has to go. Then from there we have where he has to go. Like that, all the information will be there. So from 23 onwards, AI capabilities are added. So that means automatically it can understand what you are going to do, and it can suggest some enhancements for you. The AI wizard can suggest some enhancements for you. So next thing that is added is the operations manager. Again, we have a separate topic for this one also. At the time we can see this. So then we have something called CDH assistant. That means, for example, you did not understand something, or you want to improve your application, then CDH assistant will give you some suggestions. Okay. And the next thing that is introduced is the application wizard, which I was telling you now, right? So before 8.8, we have to create everything manually. But from 8.8 onwards, you can create all the application, the entire application itself. You can create just with some simple next buttons. Okay, just you click on next button and it will automatically create. So we will see that tomorrow. Okay, we will see that tomorrow for sure, and we can understand how the application is creating. And next thing is some persona management, and clickstream is also added. Like clickstream, I just now I told you, right? That means when you go to the website, which all places the customer is clicking. For example, I am clicking on this navigation, then I clicked here. After clicking here, I am clicking on some other button. So like this entire flow will be captured in the backend in the clickstream. So that is the clickstream which is introduced in the latest versions. Next thing, this NBA configurations are also different now. These are the latest things that are coming in the latest versions. It is Pega 23 and Pega 24. So we will be learning Pega 24 as part of our course. So we are going to cover all these things which are mentioned in this particular slide. Okay, so that is the advantage. So just let us connect tomorrow and we will start with the application creation using the CDH application wizard. So we are done with the introduction steps that we need to know. That is the classification of the node, how to classify the node, how to verify the classification, and what is the context dictionary. So in the tomorrow session, we will automate all these things like the context dictionary and the application creation using the CDH application wizard. Okay, so before we close, any final questions? So did you understand the two concepts that we discussed? One is node classification. Second is uh, the context dictionary. Okay. Any
Ravi, do you
questions?
provide, yeah,
Yeah.
do you provide personal edition for 24 version?
No, there is no personal edition, right? From 8.7 onwards, there is no personal edition. 8.8 onwards, yeah, 8.9 onwards, there is no personal edition.
So for
So
the
we
new
have only community edition in 24.
new features, we'll be using community edition, right? To understand.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Yeah.
But you can use this exercise system which I sent you in the link, right? If you want, I can share it again. Okay. So all I'm doing is I'm just coming to this link and I'm clicking on the launch button. Then I'm logging in with the credentials. That's it. So these credentials are there, right? I just log in with that. That's it. Then the CDH 24 version will be open. Okay. See, for everyone's sake, I'm just
Okay.
sending
Can
it
you show me
again.
the navigation? How we are
Okay.
showing?
Navigation of how to launch, or which navigation you are telling. Okay. Yeah. Just go to this link. Then click on the login to PDN and click on launch button. Click on launch button. Then provide the credentials as decisioning architect and password is rules. That's what you have to do. That's it. Okay, that's it. Then it will log in. Okay, then it will take you to the CDH portal. So please save this link in notepad or something. Every day we'll be using this only. Okay, so please save it somewhere. And you should also practice here only. Okay, so please save it somewhere and save the credentials. Okay, let us close the session and resume it tomorrow again, same time 7:30. So tomorrow we will start with creating the application with the application wizard. So please make sure that you join us so that you can understand how to create the application in Pega Decisioning. Okay, all right then, see you tomorrow.